Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into a company that makes gear for climbing and the outdoors. It looks like some board members are leaving, some rules about company shares are changing, and the shareholders had their yearly meeting. Stick around because it's more exciting than it sounds. Before we jump in, if you like getting simple explanations of complicated business stuff, please subscribe. Also, check out our Discord channel link below for even more. This report is from late May of 2025, so we're getting a look at what was happening with this company then. First up, two directors, Michael Henning and Donald House, decided not to run for re-election. This means they left the board after the yearly meeting in May. The company says their leaving wasn't because they disagreed with anything the company was doing. It's common for board members to leave for many reasons. Sometimes it's just time to move on. Next, the shareholders voted to approve some changes to the company's stock plan. This plan is how the company gives its employees and executives stock as a reward or incentive. The big changes include reducing the number of shares they can give out. Before they could give out over 12 million shares, now it's set at 7.5 million shares. They also got rid of a rule that automatically increased the number of shares they could give out each year. The old rule added 5% of the outstanding shares every year. They also removed limits on how many shares or cash could be given to any one person in a year. The company says they made other changes to keep the plan up to date with the law. If you want all the nitty-gritty details, you can find them in the company's proxy statement, a document that the company shares with its investors. Moving on, let's talk about the results of the shareholder meeting. Out of about 38 million shares entitled to vote, around 34 million shares were voted, which is about 90%. So most people voted. The shareholders voted to elect 5 people to the board of directors: Warren Kanders, Nicholas Sokolow, Susan Ottman, Roger Werner, and Mark Besker. They also voted to keep Deloitte and Tershel as their accounting firm. And as we talked about before, they approved the changes to the stock plan. Here are the voting numbers for the board of directors. Warren Kanders got about 24 million votes for him and 7 million withheld. Nicholas Sokolow got 17.7 million votes for and 13.3 million withheld. Susan Ottman got 24 million for and 6.9 million withheld. Roger Werner got 23.8 million for and 7 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 2.7 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.7 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 7.2 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 7.2 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 2.7 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 2.7 million withheld. And Mark Besker got 28.3 million for and 2.7 million withheld. For keeping Deloitte and Tolte as the accountants, about 34.4 million voted for, about 337,000 voted against, and about 3,000 abstained. But for the changes to the stock plan, about 20 million voted for, 10.3 million voted against, and about 618,000 abstained. Finally, there's a letter about Warren Kanders, who's the executive chairman of the board. The company agreed to let Kanders and his affiliates buy up to almost 6 million more shares of stock. This would bring his total ownership to about 32.9% of the company. There's a condition that Kanders can't go over that percentage. Also, he has 2 years to buy those shares. If he sells enough shares to drop below 9.9% ownership, he needs to get approval again to buy more. Now, what does this all mean? On the surface, it appears fairly standard. Board members leaving isn't particularly unusual. The changes to the stock plan may be beneficial to the company because without the evergreen plan, the amount of shares for stock incentives is limited to a set amount instead of growing with each passing year. In addition, the company is agreeing to let Warren Kanders potentially buy a lot more stock in the company. This might be to give him more power in the company, or he might simply believe the company is worth a lot stock in the company. This might be to give him more power in the company, or he might simply believe the company is worth a lot. The high percentage of votes for the board of directors and accounting firm shows that shareholders are mostly on board with what the company is doing. Overall, it looks like Clarus Corporation is trying to streamline its stock plan and consolidate some control. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing depends on how the company performs and how those shares are used going forward. Alright, that's our breakdown of Clarus Corporation's latest filing. What's your take on these changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.